little bit about what you saw right in the field.
Thought we played a little better than when I watched the game. A lot of the things such as our run fits and our adjustments and so forth were a little bit cleaner than it looked during the course of the game. The one thing that could have been a lot better, I thought our tackling at times was not very good. We had 4 missed tackles on one particular play, and most of it was just guys overrunning the ball in poor angles or whatever. But we tried to play aggressive. They came out focused, tuned in. Didn't let the situation take control. They took control of the situation. So we were very pleased with the overall performance.
How nice was it to get Jonathan Jones, Jonathan Ford, some work out there at corner?
No question. I mean, even our starters. We had a pull back in practice last week, was so beat up, and we weren't able to work a lot of good-on-good competition in one-on-ones or in group stuff such as inside drill and some of that. And your fundamentals at times can really suffer because of that. So I didn't think we were particularly sharp, but I thought we played very physical, played hard, and a lot of young players did get a chance to play. Some played better than others, but game experience is something you just can't put a value on, so that certainly was good.
Were there any players, you talked about some earning better experience, other maybe younger players that you liked that impressed you?
Well, a lot of them are already having to play, but they got a lot more reps. You know, Montravius and Carl and Elijah, you know, up front, they've been playing all year, but they got a lot more work this time. And all that game experience is certainly going to help them. And, you know, out back, we've had some musical chairs due to injuries and early suspension, and we're starting to get things settled. Ryan White, you know, has moved to a new position. It was good for him to get a lot of work there. So I got all the way down into my threes at linebacker, and Kenny Flowers and Javier played very well when they were out there. So it was a good deal, you know, that we got out there and took care of business early, and were able to play some players, you know, in situations that really needed that work. You never know when one of them's going to have to bail you out. You know, hopefully the injury bug is come and gone, but you just never know in this game. So it was good that some of those guys got to play.
Ellis, can you just comment on D. Ford's play? You knew heading into the season he was your only bona fide pass rusher, and to miss about 2.5 games, still come in and have 6 sacks already. Just comment on his play thus far this season, whether it be just yesterday or the season as a whole.
Yeah, I think he's played very well, and probably the only difference, I think the difference in the scheme this year, last year, is we don't flip-flop our ends. He said he feels more comfortable on the left side. Maybe that's helped him. You know, that I did not realize those statistics. That is very good for the number of games that he missed. And even when he came back, you know, he had a little rust on him and had to get back to form. The thing I'll say about him is he's usually got a high motor. He's playing with a lot of intensity. Rodney's done a great job with him. But most time, good players like that, when they're playing hard, they're going to get their opportunities. They're going to make the chances and make it count. And that's what I see. Now, he's made some flashy plays for us. But in addition to that, he's usually right where he's supposed to be, and he makes some of those plays that you're supposed to make that some guys don't make.
Saw Kamai was dressed out. Is he getting close to where he can get a chance to play?
I doubt if we will play him this year. And I don't know, that it's still a little bit of a question mark, but if we may not, we may let him go ahead and take this injury redshirt year. His knee has felt pretty good at times, but I think he's still a little tentative with it. Not sure how much full speed work he's been actually getting in practice.
And Hardy, didn't see him out there.
Did not.
Yeah.
I don't know how many reps, if any, he got. I'm not sure. The ball game, you know, early in the game, we were back out there, you know, every minute and a half. But all of a sudden, that second half, we were grinding the clock, and we had some guys that we almost didn't get on the field, or perhaps we did not get on the field because those last 2 drives ate up all the clock.
I just put the linebackers with Chris and Casanova, those guys did. How important will they be this weekend against Arkansas?
They played pretty well, and again, we've had a good rotation going on, and I think that's helped them. Obviously, the linebacker play is going to be critical anytime you've got a good running football team like Arkansas. So I feel like right now there are a lot of things we can do better, but I feel like right now they're all playing very solid, making some plays, and a lot better than we were at the beginning of the year.
Ellis, how different is the preparation for this run-heavy team compared to the more spread teams that you've been playing up against the last few weeks?
Be a little bit different. The similarities, we've been getting a lot of formations with overloaded formations, you know, unbalanced. They do a lot of that. So whether you're in the zone read or whether you're in the eye or one back, anytime you've got multiple tight ends and other things they use to create unbalanced formations and fronts. So we've had quite a bit of that, in fact, the other night. And so I don't think the preparation will be that much different. We just got to get adjusted to their formations. You got to be really gap sound because they do a great job. They use their tight ends so well to create different formations and try to get your edge. And a lot of times when you overplay in that, sometimes they can get a crease up inside. So it's going to be some subtle adjustments. You know, a lot of things you see versus spread is all DBs running all over the place. Against a team like this, your linebacker playing the gaps and some of those other safeties dropping down, and that's really going to have to be perfectly fit because the running backs, once they find the crease, they can really run.
It seems the line, especially the ends, are really getting to just rushing and kind of hitting their ears back. It seems to be their game. Is there any worry going forward about just the propensity of the entire line just to rush the passer?
No, I don't think so. We've got some guys that physically they're better coming off the edge than others. You know, that's just their physical abilities. Pass rush is still going to be hugely important in this game. There'll be more tight ends in the formation, and we'll have to be more physical at the point of attack because of that. And but our guys have seen that before. And really, the thing that hurt us the last time we played a team run a little I formation and two tight ends and stuff was LSU. It's about as close, I guess, as you'd say to Arkansas's identity. And really, the biggest thing that hurt us in the running game there was not being physical at the line of scrimmage. We just got out of position, messed around, let some gaps open, and they did a real good job of hitting them. So it was more of X's and O's and being in the right place at the right time than it was not being physical.
Ellis, at the start of the season, you were very concerned about the pass rush. And it seems like how much has it improved over the course of the season?
Well, it's improved a lot, mainly because the young players that brought that natural ability are starting to get a grasp of the system, and we can play them more frequently. We don't have to worry about putting them in there in just little situational things. And then the other thing is D. We had missed D the first 2-3 games, and we got him back, and the rust is off. In the last 2-3 weeks, I think he's really played extremely well. And I think you have to also credit Craig and Ladarius, who stepped up, had their opportunities after 2 or 3 years of not playing a lot. Both of them got called on when D was not in. And I think they've really improved and played very solid for us.
What have you seen from their running back from Collins? Obviously, he's a freshman who stepped in and has done a tremendous job as a first-year player in the SEC.
They have two really good running backs, and they've struggled at times. They've been beat up, and they've struggled at times, I think, to get those guys in the open field. But they've got really good running backs, and that's my biggest concern, just making sure we're on target with all our run fits. And don't let those guys get out of the box.
I wanted to ask you about Cameron Toney. I know he's redshirting this year, but just talk about his development. What are some things he needs to improve on?
I don't see him hardly at all. It's just the nature of when they put him on the scout team. But Coach Malzahn's been really positive about his performance over there. He sees a lot of natural leadership in him. It's hard to develop as a player on the scout team other than just fundamentals. And but all reports is that Coach really feels like he's going to be a good player.
Ellis, you had said a couple of weeks ago that Justin Garrett would be out a few weeks and you'd still evaluate whether a redshirt was a possibility. What's the latest on him?
We haven't got to that point. He's just now getting the boot off, and he'll be able to start doing some things on it, gradual. It's not my call, but frankly, if he gets into that last week or so, it'd be my judgment that ought to be a red shirt and bring him back. Hopefully he can stay healthy and get 2 more years. It depends. I don't know if he has any issues with the rehab once the boot comes off. It may be a decision that's made for us. If he all of a sudden feels great, could play 2 or 3 games and a bowl game, maybe it'd be worth it. I don't know, but that really hadn't been decided. But it's getting to the point pretty soon. It's going to have to be decided. He'll get some say so on it, and I think we ought to respect the way he feels about it. As much as he's missed, I certainly don't think you ought to throw the year away just playing in a game or two.
Those extra tight ends, how much do they affect pass coverage? Is that something you've seen from anybody yet?
It affects everything. Sometimes it's very difficult you hear the saying all the time, a tight end's the best, quarterback's best friend. It's very difficult sometimes to devise any kind of special coverage to take a tight end out of the game, you know. You can roll up on a wide receiver and put a safety over top of a corner, or you can blitz and make them throw the ball quick or what have you. But tight ends, especially when you got multiple tight ends out there, it's very hard to always be in great coverage on a tight end if he's a good receiver. And they've got a couple of them that are good receivers, and 84 in particular is a good vertical receiver, can really get down the field. So they present a problem, and really with all the spread teams now all of a sudden you play a team that can put 2 tight ends and maybe even 3, and then moving them around and shifting them and so forth. You really got to be on your toes to make sure you're in good coverage position on them.
Couple more.